Aloha, beautiful family. Bliss here to share a beautiful transmission with our cosmic family on the earth, all our star nations, and all our human family. And we are in a miracle coordinate of great transfiguration. So we are here to share some pieces to help all of our global family stay in alignment, to know coherence inside of ourselves. And so coherence is that gnosis of center, and coherence is a skill. And coherence is our capacity to still ourselves on all 9 levels of creation. So we have many energy bodies. We have our physical body. We are made of trillions of organisms inside of us, and we are a pure source consciousness that is interfacing and collaborating with all these levels of the self. So if you think this love stream is going to be inspiring, please share it out. That's called gifting. It has been officially declared that the Queen of England has passed through the veils. And so this is a very big moment on the planetary body. And I'll share a little bit today about my journey as well. So for many years, I have been a bundle carrier for the indigenous on the planet to carry sacred items to sacred objects at certain and symbols and so on at certain moments in time. And that's to assist the acceleration of the awakening of the consciousness on mass scale. So just like an acupuncture needle in a human body can reset the whole body, the grid work we were doing on the planetary body was the kind of grid work that could activate mass consciousness from one location and one coordinate in time. And so we had 4 blood moons in a tetrad, 4 blood moons in a row. And they started in April of 2014, and the final one was September of 2015. And that's where I was with some of the star nations on the planet. We did a massive ceremony at a specific location on the final blood moon of the tetrad in 2015. And so massive energy was flowing through my body, my nervous system, information from the inner planes mentors, the star nations, the expanded realms, the other miracle day. And I was guided to go back to the location where the ceremony of the final blood moon occurred. So those blood moons were said to signal the coming of the 7 years of tribulation. And the 7 years of the tribulation meant the ending of the old guard. So with the announcement that many are writing to me about today, about the Queen's passing, this is all connected into the signs and the metaphors that we have completed our cycle as a human family to clear the old energies out from within us of the old guard, the old patterns, the polarity, the victimizer roles of the duality play. And we're all equal in the process. Everyone in our human family has played a role in the play. So there's no good, bad, right, wrong. As the individual finds coherence in themselves, they collapse the belief of good, bad, right, wrong. We collapse the belief of a villain outside of ourselves. And I will post a beautiful Yogananda video from Instagram with Yogananda speaking about this as well. So our work on the planetary body as a collective has been to find that coherence and collapse duality inside of ourselves. If this love stream is inspiring, please share it right now. That's called gifting. It's a very big miracle coordinate for our human family right now. So each one of us had to clear the ancestral wounding. Every single human on the planet, regardless of bloodline, lineage, color, sex, religion, all those terms that we've used. Each one of us has had to do this massive clearing to come home to coherence, that still point in ourselves. And programmed in the genetics of this beautiful modern day version of the I Ching, the 60th gene says, Richard Rudd, it was just his birthday yesterday, Miracle Day, and it was Wee Bliss's birthday on the 4th of September, and Richard and I were born 3 days apart. So I knew that what was coming through this transmission was the final synthesis, the final part, because it was Yogananda and Babaji that gave Wee the name Unity Grace and told me when it came in October of 2015, just after the final blood moon of the tetrad, meaning 4 blood moons that happened in a row. I was at Yogananda's Encinitas self-realization retreat, and Yogananda came in to me and said, you will take the name Unity Grace. It will only resonate with you for 3 days, but you will change it legally in Victoria, British Columbia on the 7th of April 2016. And you will keep the name for some time to emanate the codes back into the collective, to come into unity, which is the feminine principle, restore the mother arc within us, and go through the ascension sequence, which is the 22nd gene of grace. And so we did the name change in Victoria, British Columbia on a very specific moon on the 7th of April 2016 to shift the birth certificate inside of the system that held the old guard in place. And just by shifting the coordinates of the name on the birth certificate to equate to the genetic sequencing, that emanation through all of the higher planes and inner planes and all those who are assisting us, this is the way that we emanated to the mass consciousness, unity consciousness, which is 9th wave. So if you think this love stream is inspiring, please share it out right now. That's called gifting. And this is a very big day. So as Wee Bliss was going through this miracle night, we felt massive planetary energies shifting. The planet is awakened. She is shifting from inside. And that is why there's so much heat in so many locations. On my birthday of this physical being into the physical reality, September 4th, the other miracle day, the planetary body in this location where I'm holding a grid point heated up so high that the ground was very hot to walk on. And because we're sitting over a massive crystal temple, a massive crystal pillar on the planet, as are many of we. Anyone in Grass Valley, Nevada City, massive crystal location, Hawaii, Mount Shasta, Mount Fuji, Mount Kailash, all over the planet. There's a massive activation that is occurring inside the Sophia White Dragon lines, the grid lines that connect all of we into unity consciousness. So there's a grid on the planet, and there's a peak behind me, which is a perfect triangle in the mountains. The natural unity grid on the planet is wherever you see a perfect triangular mountain peak. That is what creates the unity grid on the planet energetically. And that is the organic matrix, not the matrix, it's the organic matrix. So many of we are being called into action now. We shared a love stream the other miracle day from the very location, sitting in the seat of one of the two Chumash chairs side by side, cut out into the rock, kind of stuffed off in the forest, where we did the final ceremony of the fourth blood moon of the tetrad in 2015. And I was guided to go there specifically because the guidance said those seats were made because that's where Chumash people communed with the star nations directly. And that's where the two love streams, part 1 and 2, Star Nations Awaken, which is also on my Facebook page, and I'll put the links in the notes of this love stream after, or one of the pod can put the links also in the chat box right now for those transmissions. So in through the night and this rising today, I was experiencing what is happening inside the planetary body, and it is very, very big. This is like when the mother is in full labor, full delivery of the baby, the child, the new consciousness. So the transmission we shared the other day was to say there's many starseeds who have awakened who may still be living and existing in 3D. And the inspiration, the call out was to say, if you're receiving these new internal messages to leave your jobs, your relationships in 3D, and go get crystals and do ceremonies with the earth and sit with nature and all those things, it's very normal and natural because we are part of the planetary consciousness, and she is communicating through we. She is taking over our circuitry. And really the message in the transmissions through what we call the temples of grace, the high temples of Syrian Ru, that have been coming through since the beginning of the new harmonic convergence calendar, July 26. The transmissions started coming through from the temples of grace. So these are from the aspects of our pure source consciousness family that have been informing we of how to move into the energy of the subtle bodies, the fields of the subtle essence, the supernal, the Atma, so that many of we can be receiving direct coordinates, not through our human brain or our human ego, just literally that the Atma has taken over our circuitry. And that's why we shared with Starseeds the other miracle day. And again, if this love stream is inspiring right now, please press the live share button right now. That's called gifting. Biggest miracle coordinate ever, because the Queen, it has been announced, has officially passed through the veils. And we're going to weave this in so we can all understand all the pieces of what is happening. And we're just going to tag, we're being guided to tag Shema. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the message is nature is taken over our circuitry. That's been the message since the beginning of September, even though time isn't real, in these months of the Roman Greco system that the mass consciousness of the Western world has been living in is really a facade. It's a fictional fiction. It's a creation. And nature has been pulling her children out of that creation to bring us back into harmony and balance and coherence beyond polarity and the duality play. So nature is really, the message has been, she's taken over our circuitry. Resistance used to be futile, and now resistance is non-existent to nature, just like the butterfly hatching from the cocoon or the dragonfly hatching from the nymph, our circuitry is being activated in a way to bring us into alignment and balance. One of the favorite videos I like to share from YouTube, and maybe Ray of Light could find it right now and post it in the chat notes, is the video of a bunch of metronomes. So metronomes, they sit on a piano, they're used for music, they're used to help people find the perfect timing in music. And so there's a lot of experiments with metronomes where if you put 100 metronomes side by side and you just run your hand through them, all the metronomes are doing their own thing until they all come into a field of resonance. And that's what's happening on the planet, is in our ego body, our small self, we were all doing our own thing. And through the planetary body awakening, bringing us into resonance, the beautiful thing is that the metronomes all start moving together in flow like a pod. That's ninth wave unity, and that's what's happening now on the planet. There's no good, bad, right, wrong. Carl Kalleman wrote a beautiful book called The 9 Waves of Creation, and what he shows is that we were in a holographic reality of many different levels. And to move into ninth wave, we had to clear from us the hologram of good and evil to move into ninth wave. And so that's what we've all been doing, is coming into that higher frequency of unity, of coherence, of love. And this prepares us for the great event of what we call contact, which is coming. And as part of the planetary body right now, because the planetary body is moving from within, we have unlocked the Sophia white dragons. These are the energy ley lines of pure creation that have been within the planetary body, the physical planetary body. So what we could say is that the Sophia white dragons are the essence of Sophia herself, and many of us have been on the planet working to liberate the parts that have been holding those energy lines down. Again, if this love stream is inspiring, please share it. That's called gifting, as it has been officially announced that the Queen has passed through the veils. So let's go back to the 4 blood moons of the tetrad that started in April of 2014 and went until September of 2015. 4 blood moons that signified the coming of the 7 years of tribulation. That means the end of the old guard from within. We see it playing out in all the old structures dissolving, and it's also, it had to happen from within us. So on the first blood moon of the tetrad, many things had already happened for We Bliss, where indigenous nations were contacting we and asking we to carry certain bundles around the planet in my work with the grids. I knew that I was going to Israel, and I was still one of those starseeds who was kind of mostly in my expanded state with a little bit of a toe in 3D, questioning all this guidance that was coming through me that was so different and unique to the world of 3D. And so we have to find our courage to just follow that inner guidance, and it comes from a place that is very clear and very still, and it's aligned with balance and harmony. It's aligned with nature. So on my own journey, I really had to find that courage to keep allowing my fear to dissolve and allow that energy to guide me, because it guides from a place of benevolence for the well-being of all. And I had been asked by Grandma Silverstar in March of 2014 to carry the Star Knowledge bundles with me to the Holy Mount in Israel at the time of the Great Grand Cardinal Cross in April of 2014. I had also been asked by Marshall Golden Eagle Jack to carry rose quartz crystals and water that had been blessed by the councils of the 13 grandmothers, and many other items had been given to me to take with me on my journey on the grids to Israel, to Jordan, to Australia, to Bali, to England, to unplug the patriarch from the grids. So there's a festival called Lucidity, and we had created a council for peace with many elders like Marshall Golden Eagle Jack and Jose Muñez Federico, the carrier of the calendar of the Sixth Sun. And so we invited them to join us at these ceremonies at Lucidity. So the 2014 Lucidity, the day that it ended was the first blood moon of the tetrad. It's a very important piece. So if this love stream is inspiring, please share it out. That's called gifting, because right now we're going to share the piece that connects us with the passing of the Queen. On that first blood moon of the tetrad, the Lucidity festival was complete, and I was sitting having breakfast with a star elder named Marshall Golden Eagle Jack, who is Paiute, and he did many ceremonies with the 13 grandmothers. He traveled with them on the planet, and he did many ceremonies to restore the flow of the Colorado River and with water on the planet, to make these medicine water wheels to purify the water again. Because when he was a youth, he was he asked if he could go with his grandparents to the mountains where they would go every summer, and they took him with him. They were medicine people, and they would go up into the mountains to the glaciers that were melting, and they would do prayers with the baby drops of water that were melting from the glaciers, because they said it was very important for the humans to bring these prayers to those little droplets from the glaciers to have a safe journey all the way down into the ocean. And so Marshall Golden Eagle Jack learned to do these sacred water blessings. And we have many interviews with Grandma Silverstar, with Marshall Golden Eagle Jack, Joe Dispenza, many others on my Living Universe podcast from way back then, sharing this wisdom. This has been a massive movement over lifetimes on this planet to get to this miracle coordinate now, with the passing of the Queen, as a signal that it is the miracle to unify as a cosmic family on this planet, for the lifting of the veils, for the miracle jubilee celebration, for what we call contact, the end of the experiment of duality, to clear the distortion on a cosmic level amongst many star nations. And it is complete. The codes of Atlantis and Lemuria resolved through the indigenous and the Vatican. That's why this container was created, for the clearing of any level of incoherence or duality. So on that first blood moon of the tetrad, having breakfast with Marshall, I said, what will we do for the ceremony tonight for this first blood moon of the tetrad? And Marshall said, I've been doing water ceremonies all week. I'm not doing anything tonight. And I knew that was the signal to We Bliss that the Divine Feminine was being handed the torch to create the ceremony. And instantly I saw a vision of the side angle of the eye of the phoenix, and the guidance said we were to make this large mandala in the dry riverbed of the land where the Lucidity Festival is hosted, which is all Chumash terrain. So we built this very large mandala out of rocks, and we did a ceremony, and at the exact point of the time of the blood moon, Nathan's sky horse came with we into the center while over 100 people were with us, gathered in the dark, and the blood moon was at its peak. And we were guided to place Wee's womb blood in the center of the eye of the phoenix, because the indigenous said and say, when the women of the earth return their blood to the earth, the men will come home from the war. And this ceremony was to acknowledge that moment at every level of our creation, that our human family was to come home from all the war games, the video war games, the illusions, the delusions. Einstein said to us that the reality is an illusion, albeit a persistent one, because there was many things from the old guard that were persistent to keep the old reality of war games in place. That miracle coordinate with Nathan and our extended cosmic family holding the field together to place that womb blood in the earth of the eye of the white phoenix, to resurrect the white phoenix and the white dragon, Quetzalcoatl, that cosmic awareness in our consciousness to take us beyond the duality game. We did the ceremony, and later that night, Bliss was wandering around and just praying with the oak trees on the land. It was very late in the night, and Marshall, Golden Eagle, Jack came out, and he held my hands, and he looked me in the eyes and said, "We're expecting the queen to die soon." And I said, "Why are you telling me this?" And he said, "Because you will be successful on your mission." And I said, "Does my mission have something to do with the queen dying?" And he said, "She is the last vestige of the off-world energies, and when she is gone, ascension is a done deal." So we have a global, galactic, cosmic, celestial family on this planetary body in all roles in the play. In the duality play, we have our cosmic family in roles that played good, that played bad, that played evil, that played right, that played wrong. We have the codices of nature inside of us that are awakening all of us together as a global family. And so there is going to be massive shifts and changes on the planet, because it is coming from inside of we going, "I get it. I quit. I walk away from my 3D job. I need to follow this guidance that's coming through me, and I need to do it now. I need to leave these relationships that are dysfunctional. I need to take responsibility for coherence inside of me. I need to act fast in time to follow the messages, to align with the planetary body, because as our beloved Richard says in the Gene Keys, when the 60th city ignites in multiple beings, it will be the end of the world as we know it, and Gaia and the cells that make up her consciousness will move forth into a new reality, transcendent of time and gravity. So, connected to the triple helix and the ocean of teeming life that is beyond 3D. This is the miracle coordinate, dear family, that it is real and it is happening. So if you are receiving guidance to go do a simple ceremony with the planetary body itself, please do that. Bring your crystals, bring your water. If you don't know how to do ceremony and you're just getting a message to go sit under a tree in nature, please do that as well. This makes the transition very easy for the planetary body. It makes the transition very easy for our human family and all life as well. This is the miracle coordinate. The Queen passing signals the end of the old guard in totality, not as an evil entity, not as something outside of us. A signal that we have en masse cleared the old energies of the nymph, of the underworld. We've cleared them from inside of we. And that's what was required for the queen to pass as a metaphor, as a signal to human consciousness, to our human family, because we are all one family. This message from the beloved queen is the signal that we passed the test. Keep in mind, it was Princess Diana that came to me in March of 2016 and said, I'm going to merge my codes with you so that we can unplug the misinformation system, the Nazi regime that is perpetuating duality. And that's what this whole journey has been, to unlock the energy of the Sophia white dragons, the pure source creative energy that lives inside of this planetary body, inside of all of we. This is graduation for our human family. This is graduation moment for this planet. And it is the miracle for vast transfiguration in our lives, reorganization, reorientation, to get into alignment with our purpose now, our cosmic purpose, to serve this miracle jubilee. I made a post the other miracle day to thank everyone for the birthday and solar return blessings. And I said, it's an incredible miracle because we are the ones we have been waiting for. We made it, we created it, we lived it, we did it, and we planned the surprise party, and we are moving into the orientation to bring this miracle jubilee into formation now. And everyone has a role. As one awakens one's consciousness from inside the self, Amaray of Light will probably kindly place the beautiful picture of the dragonfly and the nymph. We are coming out of our shell. So the nymph is the shell that encases the dragonfly inside of it. And it's an underworld being, and Richard explains it greatly in the 55th gene. He explains the story of the dragonfly, that it lives inside of a body, a shell called the nymph, and the nymph lives in the underworld. It lives underwater. It's predatory. It feeds on everything. And it can live for many years in that form until it rises up and comes out, up the stem of a water lily or a blade of grass, and the sun hits its chest, its thorax, and the thorax opens wide, and the dragonfly emerges out. So when you see the picture that Amaray of Light will kindly post in the chat box, the nymph and the dragonfly are facing each other in the stalk, because it's all about us embracing our shadow that allowed us to transcend fear, to open up the great central sun within us, the heart of love, that sun that connects all life in oneness and unity and beyond. And that's what's opened up in the masses, which is why the Queen was able to pass as a signal, as a metaphor, as a symbol, because we are all connected. And it is only the ego that says someone is good and someone is bad. We've all been connected inside of this. That's why there is a song called Team. Wait till you're announced. We have not lost all our graces. The hounds will stay in chains. Look up at your graces as she, we, bliss, send the call out. And this is the miracle coordinate that we send the call out to all of we. Nature has taken over our bodies. Nature has taken over the planetary circuitry. These transmissions assist us now to reorient and reorganize, follow the guidance in time languaging, allow it to happen quickly. Many things will be like falling away, taken away instantly. This is my life. It's okay, keep going. It's all good. We're all in this together. It's all love. There's no fear. And we all have our role in benevolence to support and be a part of the celebration of our graduation that we are planning and creating for ourselves, the great celebration on the planet, the miracle jubilee. And this energy of bliss, Ananda, will continue to grow and burgeon within all of us, regardless of the role we have played. We were in the grocery store the other miracle day, and we could feel it. There was music playing, and I could feel this energy. I was just kind of dancing a little bit to the music, and the guidance just showed all of these lights going off inside of everyone, called revelation in the store. You could see the awakening. You could see that any moment now, the light is going to turn on in all. And the guidance just showed, like flash mob, everyone in the grocery store starts to dance. And one of the things we posted on our birthday thank you was to say that as an oracle, we were shown that humanity would go through a long period of tears together. And that was the cleansing, that period of tears. And then all of a sudden, everyone would start to laugh. This is the miracle coordinate that Sarah, sends the signal out called bliss to our human family, to our human consciousness, to the collective, to the inner planes mentors, to all the realms, the elementals, the minerals. This is the miracle coordinate that we send the call out. So if this love stream is inspiring, please share it. That's called gifting. If you are receiving guidance and inspiration to go to the planetary body and create planetary art, people call it art altars, any kind of ceremonies with the earth to move through these earth shifts and changes so that it all happens with equanimity, harmoniously. The true elementals, which is part of what we bliss and many others, came to clear the energy through to restore the elementals to their purified state beyond the fallen realms. The pure elementals are very gentle. The rain comes soft, the wind, the breeze blows lightly, the sun is not harsh. And all those experiences in the fictional fiction that people have had with weather and elementals and so on, that is not the true nature of the elementals. And so the more of us that listen to the messages to go to the planet now, to acknowledge nature, to sit in oneness, to be in oneness, to hold coherence. Remember, I always share this, if you're stressed, just cross your wrists, clasp your hands, cross your ankles, close your eyes and deep breathe until you feel a shift and you come to that place of stillness inside of yourself. And when you do, just bring your fingertips together, open your eyes, and just have that sense of lock-in. And that aligns us with the resonance of nature and the planetary body itself. Big, big shifts coming. We are the stewards and caretakers of this planet itself, the living library, the living lightbrary. We are moving home into the cosmic Akash. There is mass activation through the Nilotic meridian in Africa. right now 108 temples in what is called Egypt, perfectly aligned on the Nilotic Meridian, which goes all the way down through South Africa. When Bliss was a very young child, the indigenous started to commune with me in the night. Credo Mutwa, who was the elder of the Dogon people, would come to me and teach me every night. The Kogi, the Chumash, many elders in the ethereal realms have been my teachers of the grids to show and share what is happening. And I'm saying hi to Big Bai right now, who is one of our great Dogon teachers. I'm saying aloha to Nikki Zephyr, to our Star Knowledge family now, who has been holding these codes on the planet, to our indigenous families all over the planet, to the Shipibo and to the Kalahari Bush people, and to the people in what is called East Timor, to the Australian indigenous, which people call the Aboriginals, to our Chumash, in the utmost namaste, respect, and alignment with the wisdom of the original true peoples, root peoples now. And that knowledge and that wisdom can and is rising in all of us if we allow it. We are all indigenous peoples of this planet now, and we all have a divine purpose here together to unify in unity, in oneness, for the greater purpose. And we celebrate with the deepest reverence the role that has been played by the Queen of England on behalf of all life. We celebrate this with coherence and benevolence, and we celebrate this passing of the Queen for her courage to pass through the veils now as our metaphor and our signal, as we shared earlier on the first blood moon of the tetrad, when Marshall Golden Eagle Jack came to me and said, we're expecting the Queen to die soon, and when she does, that she is the last vestige of the off-world energies, and when she's gone, ascension is a done deal. So all hands on deck of our personal light ships, of Gaia's light ship, of Sophia's light ship, for cosmic contact to come. We love we dance with we sing with we celebrate with we the miracle jubilee. Namaste, divine, beloved, human family. We did this together. We did it. It's happened. It's already done. So, movement forward. Be in celebration. Listen to the guidance from the heavens. Anything that is not of cosmic guidance that we think is right and we begin to do, we will get a clear signal instantly from the cosmos. If it is not from the supernal, if it's not from the Atma, if it's not from the greater collective benevolent one, any plans that we undertake that are not of the one, that come from the level of the nymph or the ego, will now instantly be shut down. And that will be our clue to listen and to tune in again for clearer guidance. Because, as the guidance said, resistance is now non-existent. Not only stay on the path, we are on the path. And the external will give us the clues, because we have pierced and passed through the veils of the ring pass not, and all the illusions and delusions that were created by the versions of ourself called the old guard to interrupt, interfere with this process, or slow it down. We have passed beyond collectively together. So anything that is not in alignment, in our inspired action, we will get instantaneous guidance of how to come back on to the path that is in service to the well-being of the whole, to the collective, in service to the one. If this love stream is inspiring or helpful, please share it. That's called gifting. We love thee so much. Thank you for tuning in. Celebrate celebration and allow the bliss to flow in.